Buenos dias.
Buenos dias,
How
mi
are you?
amiga. Mi amigo. We've
How
been
are
here
you
for-
this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am tired. It has been a long, I think I've been here 12 days. I've lost count.
Wait, Steve, where are you?
Oh my gosh. So we are in El Salvador at El Zonte Beach at a beautiful hotel. You can see the ocean behind us. If we were extremely daring, we would have tried this literally on the beach. But if you understood the logistics involved in just trying to get this to work at all, it's moderately challenging. So we apologize for the sun. We have sun coming through and trees blocking us. So no matter where we move, the sun and the lighting is not going to be ideal. So
And we figured we shouldn't close our eyes through the whole entire stream. So
yes,
we have sunglasses on this morning.
so,
And we look cool with sunglasses.
I mean, say no
Really?
more. So what are you doing here, Tanya? When did you arrive? Or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I arrived on Tuesday morning, very early, 6 a.m., red-eye flight. Yeah, it was kind of fun. And some crazy person told me that I needed to come to El Salvador.
Welcome to El Salvador.
Yes, and
Yes.
I had never been here. This is country number 55, I believe.
55. That's
Yes.
pretty good. What
Yeah.
is it? Is the phrase bienvenidos?
Bienvenidos.
Bienvenidos.
Welcome,
Okay.
for those of you who don't know that.
So I just wanted to do a live stream. We just wanted to do a live stream to give an update on the ERP Center of Excellence project, which kind of hatched in my dysfunctional brain probably
Local.
2 years ago. It started to take shape about 22 months ago, got formalized 20 months ago. And it has been a lot of work, but things are finally starting to pay off.
But it completely changed.
Yes. And we will give an
10 days
update
ago.
on that. Okay. Sorry, we're going to work out some technical issues here. Okay. So what do we want to talk about?
The Black Sand Beach, which is amazing here.
Yes. So El Zonte Beach is there. Lots of different beaches along here. El Zonte Beach is one of the, fancier beaches. It's very nice. We can walk down from our hotel to the Black Sand Beach, where the water is warmer in the ocean than in the swimming pool.
Yes,
quite
and
literally.
There's lots of surfers, which I told Steve that in the next trip I'm learning to surf, so we'll have to do here's Tanya surfing video.
Sounds good. I will take that video and stay on the beach. So,
he says it's dangerous. I might break something.
Yes, and knowing Tanya.
You probably will.
So why are we here live streaming from a beach? And this started about 3 years ago, where we started to work together and create a couple companies. And we said, hey, our goal is to be able to work remotely. And we had a goal, this distant fantasy, that we would actually work on a beach. And we didn't mean that in a figurative sense, in a kind of beach adjacent. This is literal on the beach. And short of dragging all this gear down to the sand and getting covered in seawater, this is pretty darn good. So Here we are 3 years later.
Only 2.5, actually.
Okay, I'll take it.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
Through just absolutely wild series of events and
Yes.
coincidences and total just happenstance and chance meetings. We are building something in El Salvador.
Yes.
So for those, for all 10,000 viewers, right, that are watching right now, in case you haven't seen it, um, I did a few live streams on an idea called the ERP Center of Excellence. And the idea was to bring Microsoft Dynamics and specifically Business Central to the Latin American region. If you go to the Dynamics User Group website and you look at where the Dynamics user groups are located, they are in Africa, they are in Europe, they are in North America. And if you look at Latin America, there was not a single user group there. And I was surprised by that, frankly. Like, wait a minute, doesn't everywhere from Mexico all the way down to Argentina, don't they use ERP software? And presumably they use some Microsoft software. So,
We hope, anyway.
yeah. And so, why aren't there user groups down there? Why aren't there support groups? Why isn't there more activity? So, I chose El Salvador as my base of operations to create a world-class training program. And you can't just have training. So in this circle here, we have education. We're going to need a community, and that's where the user groups come in. We need people to be able to apologize for the crazy birds here at the beach, but we need a community to help support the people who are being trained and looking for jobs. And then, speaking of jobs, we need to have demand for the people who have been trained, been certified, who want the jobs. We need to produce demand and introduce these people to job opportunities. So, we are producing this entire program from scratch by showing up in El Salvador, banging on doors, meeting people, nagging people for months in order to get meetings, phone calls, and have conversations to make this happen.
And finding an amazing driver who just drove us around everywhere.
Yes, yes. And these are all part of the connections that I've made over the last 20 months. So it has been a lot of work, but it's been great, very rewarding so far. So, what has happened in the last
48 hours?
48 hours. This was originally, I was thinking that this would be something that I host a class in San Salvador, the major city here, and I have 10 students show up at this class. I need to rent a hotel or a conference center or something like that, pay them $2,000 to $3,000 for this room, and people somehow make their way here, show up, and attend training, and then go off on their way. And we try to form some cohesion. Well, through just an unbelievable series of events, when I arrived on a Sunday with my family, I spoke with someone at my hotel. I asked him a question. We started talking. He introduced me to a farmer's market down the road. I talked to several people there, including a couple from New Zealand who is here starting educational classes in a small town about 3 hours away. They're doing English classes, computer classes, and they're trying to offer skills to this community to give them better job opportunities. And I thought, well, hey, I'm going to the next level. I need people who speak English and have some computer skills, and I would like to train them on business software. And they looked at me like, okay, you're some crazy guy from LA. Like, that's nice. Like, pat me on my head and like, have a good day. So we walked around and I came back to him. I interrupted him again in a conversation. I'm like, no, really, I'm serious. Let's connect. And like, if you need computers, I'm happy to bring in a laptop or, mini PCs and help your program. And he said, well, can you make it out to Berlin? And I thought, Berlin? Berlin is 3 hours away. It's like, can I make it out to Berlin? I didn't know. And he invited me. And I was like, well, I talked to my tour guide. I talked to a driver. I was like, is this possible? I said, sure, I will come out there on Sunday. So my poor driver drove me 7:30 a.m. for 3 hours out to this little town up on the mountains called Berlin, El Salvador. And I showed up. They had assembled 10 people in their training facility at 10:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And I thought, wow, what is going on?
Yep.
They were unbelievably excited to have the opportunity to train Salvadorans on Business Central and Microsoft Dynamics and anything else they can get. And so I thought it was an interview for them to validate me and to vet me, but really they were checking to see if this was real. And it is, right? We're going to build the program. We're going to build the training. We're going to have the support services. And we need a few employees. We need help with growing business. So we would like to hire a few of these people. And so they are, jumping for joy over this opportunity. And we're working on logistics right now. So then yesterday, why don't you?
Yesterday we went to San Salvador.
San Salvador, the big crazy city with lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic and lots of people. Yes, it was an amazing city, and we had lunch with a gentleman from one of the companies here.
Yep, from a large Dynamics partner based in San Salvador with over 130 employees in their office. Not all Dynamics. They do everything from infrastructure to a NOC, a SOC, strategy planning and IT, and they also have several Dynamics teams. So
we had a conversation with him about, what are you looking for in employees, and would you hire some of these employees? And his answer was, absolutely, I would be interested in that. So we're kind of, like Steve said, we're knocking on doors, trying to find people who would basically join our community and help with this crazy venture that we're doing here. We're also talking about doing the user group with him there in San Salvador. So if anybody's watching this and wants to join that front, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and so given the logistics of the geography here, San Salvador is a busy city. It turns out that many people are still working remotely in the IT and tech world. And so getting people to come into the city for a user group meeting, likely very challenging. So we may do 2 user groups in a hybrid model, San Salvador and Berlin, and have them work together to produce a larger community. And one of the great things that came out of the conversation at lunch yesterday was, I said, we have people that we offshore from El Salvador. So they work with U.S. companies to provide them services. So that's the near shore to the U.S. company. El Salvador actually offshores to India.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
So they said, we would like to bring those jobs back to El Salvador so we can manage them from our office. So we offered to help them put together a program to bring 5 developer jobs to El Salvador, to source candidates, to train them, to give them practicum projects, and to meet all of the criteria that this partner wants to have a Business Central developer that they can bring on to their staff in El Salvador by mid-2024. So we have 6 months to make that happen.
So you won't see Steve and I for 6 months. We're going to be buried.
Or we'll be at the beach a lot.
We'll be at the beach. Yeah.
So that's what we're up to. We are building, and it has just been an amazing sequence of events of the last 12 days being here on the ground, meeting with people, speaking with people. I'm literally nagging people until I get a meeting and banging down doors to make things happen. But once the conversation happens and they see that it's real and they see that it can be built, they're very excited and very happy. So tons of opportunity here.
And if you haven't been to El Salvador, which I had not been here, Steve came last year. It is an amazingly beautiful city, I think.
Yeah.
We went to the library yesterday. We went to the cathedral yesterday for a little bit. It is a very safe city. Steve and I, we've walked around by ourselves here and, down streets, down alleys, Steve's
middle of the night, not middle of the night, but late at night. It's dark. You can leave your stuff out.
Yes.
People leave their cell phones and computers on tables.
Yes.
There's
And
no concern.
Steve doesn't lock the door either. So we won't tell you exactly where our hotel room is. But
you don't need to lock the door.
Yeah,
It's
so
a beautiful, safe place. So
if something that you have seen previously that you didn't feel like it was safe, we both feel like it's an absolutely safe country to come into. It's like I said, absolutely beautiful beaches and
wonderful people.
Yes.
Just friendly, compassionate people who have had decades and decades of very difficult situations, and they're finally having a renaissance in their country that is producing amazing opportunities. So that's why I'm here to help them, grow and have a thriving economy, offer jobs, offer high-level professional jobs that they can do remotely from anywhere in the country.
Yeah. So it's very exciting.
Yes. So if you want beautiful beaches, wonderful people, great pupusas, and if you don't know what a pupusa is, watch some videos. It's a fantastic treat. And yeah, we've had a great time,
Yes.
and we're making things happen. So that is what's going on in El Salvador for the ERP Center of Excellence. So thank you for joining us. And oops.
And did you?
There we go.
And I was going to say, and stay tuned. If you have questions, you can reach out to Steve or I, and we will be happy to give you more information about anything, and just keep watching us for more updates.
Yep. We're going to be busy. We're going to be back here, and we are in for a true adventure.
We are.
we may need to do, here, let's switch back. We may need to do a live stream from Berlin. There are some, I'll call them cultural gems from a small town on the side of the mountain in El Salvador, and one of which I'll tease is no running water.
Yes.
So that's what we're up for.
Well, you have it every other day.
Every other day for 8 hours, you have running water, and you use it wisely and you store it up. So we are in for quite an adventure. It's going to be fun, and but it's a beautiful town. Had a great time there, and yeah, it's going to be great. So with that, we are going to get some breakfast. We're going to go hang out on the beach and have more meetings.
We're actually going to work today too.
Yes, we have several more conference calls lined up with people in El Salvador and working with the team in Berlin in order to build this. So we have a busy day ahead.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining me in El Salvador, Tanya.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. See you, everyone. Okay.
That sun got